I'm Damien the DM from Adventures in Aurelia, a collaborative storytelling experience told through a game of Dungeons & Dragons, part of the GonnaGeek network, just like the show you're checking out now. Shows on the network are individually owned, and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other epically geeky shows at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
This is the official GonnaGeek.com show. Here we run down the latest news and happenings in the world of geek. These are your hosts for the show, Steven, Chris, and SP.
Welcome to an all-new episode of the official GonnaGeek Show 2026. Shing! I am Steven, and I am pleased to say Chris Farrell is here.
It's not 2027?
Also joining us is SP.
It's been a long year this week.
Yeah, I'd like a refund, please. I'm not satisfied with my new year.
You know what? I'm going to have a crash out. My shirt says crash out. We are here with another episode of the official GonnaGeek Show. And if you didn't know that, we are part of the GonnaGeek Network. And there is an awesome Discord. You should come to GonnaGeek.com/Discord because the Discord is where all the fun happenings happen.
Yes. All of them.
All of them. Every single one of the fun happenings. There's no other fun in the world except for in the GonnaGeek Discord. Don't you agree?
Since you've trademarked the term fun happenings, then that's true.
And if we were to set up a donation page, it would be the fund happenings.
It's very punny.
It is, because I'm a punny guy. Hey, how was your guys' holiday season?
I got the flu and was sick for like 2.5 weeks. It was not great. Dodge the flu if you can, everyone.
Spent a lot of time in airports. That was
okay.
Dodge airports if you can.
His new name is Airport Pioneer. He's no longer stargating to places. He's airporting.
Yeah, I spent way too much time in Chicago O'Hara's airport. I flew through there, I don't know, 10 times. It was bad.
We're going to call you AP now.
Well, I spent a lot of time with family, and just to carry on the trend, dodge family if you can.
It's okay. None of them watch this show. You'll be fine.
No, I'm sorry to hear that. Both of those things sounded not great. I'm just glad that SP, you didn't get the flu in the airport. That would have been unfortunate.
I saw some flu in the airport. I travel with a mask on and when I'm in the airports these days because, you know, it it worked. Like traveling with a mask on, I didn't get sick. So I guess it works.
I thought we weren't allowed to do that now. I'm very confused.
Well, I went to the TSA thing and I had my mask on and the guy's like, we're going to try it. It might work, but you might have to take the mask off. And I'm like, it's okay. Because they're like 10 feet away from you or whatever. Yeah. I'm like, sure, I'll take it off. So I did. And he got the picture and he's like, yeah, it worked.
Did you just say, do you know who I am?
I am Airport Pioneer, damn it.
I could have slapped down my ID just to walk through, but we're not supposed to do that. So
well, that's too bad. I tried doing that with my Costco card. It didn't get me.
I used my Sheets card.
I already have one. I don't need one. You come back here.
Actually, I have a story about Costco. So I don't know if they do that down there yet, but they up here for a while now, you've had to swipe to get in the door. Like they actually scan the card. So I'm like, I'm just going to add this to my Google Wallet. I can just add the number in there.
Well, you can.
And so, well, I
manually
in theory you can. And I did. And I got in several times. And then, and when you scan it, let me back up here. When you scan it, it actually pulls up on a tablet your picture so they can see you. And then one day a lady stopped me and said, oh, I need to actually have you have the app or the card and actually scan it. I'm just like, yeah, because, you know, my picture's somehow going to change in your database with it. Like, whatever. So
you did the manual addition to Google Wallet. It wasn't like baked into Costco to be like, add to Google Wallet. Gotcha.
So now what I'm thinking is maybe if I can edit the Google Wallet picture so that it kind of looks like the app, maybe it's enough just to skirt it.
I don't know that you can yet.
I'm just because I think you can add a custom logo, can't you? So I'm just wondering if like I was to make it kind of look like the app or have the Costco logo, maybe. I don't know.
So you've got Android Wear. You could just have it on your watch also in theory. Just like, bloop.
Oh, that'd be so good.
So you're talking about Forgery.
No. It's
Sounds like you're talking
it's
about
legitimate
Forgery.
duplicate.
Look, that's another podcast that I do.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about that here.
Then
That's
why'd you bring
Forgery
it up?
today with Stephen Jondrew.
Well, funny enough, so I don't have a Costco membership, but when I was home for the holidays, my mom's car, she's got a Subaru Outback, which Chris is very familiar with. And anyway, it's a few years old, 4 or 5 years old. I can't remember. So we were going to, in Minnesota, believe it or not, we were going to Topgolf or whatever, where, you go up there and
I got all excited when you started with Top, and then it got less entertaining as we went.
Right. Well, anyway, we went there and we had to take multiple cars because there's so many of us. And I was not in the Subaru. I was driving my dad's truck. And we were separated. And I get this call once I'm there. Yeah, the car, it stopped and we can't get it started again. So long story short, the battery had gone down. And because of the start stop, it had drawn down the battery enough in the cold weather that it wasn't going to start again. Fortunately, the Topgolf is that what it's called? Topgolf? Chris, help me out.
I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, we're at the Topgolf. See, this is how much I golf. Like I don't know what it's called, but it's right across the street from a Costco, and my parents have a Costco membership. So we're like, let's just go get a battery at Costco. It's the cheapest, goodest, whatever you can get. So we drive over there, me and my son-in-law. And before we go over there, my sister's like, do you want her husband? Do you want her husband, my brother-in-law? Do you want his card? I'm like, yeah, actually, yeah, because then I can get in. And they weren't understanding that I didn't have one because everybody had one. And I'm like, yeah, give me the card so I can get in. I don't need it to pay. I just needed to get in. So yeah, that's how I got in.
Well, see, it wouldn't work here because the picture comes up for them here. It actually, you see, it's probably, some privacy law down there. But here, it's just, it's there for everybody to see your horrible Costco picture.
Why is it horrible?
Because it's my
It's like
picture,
a DMV
picture of me.
photo. They never turn out well.
So you don't have to say horrible. It's just a picture of you. We all know it's horrible.
Fair enough. Should we go ahead and get into the news?
Yes, please.
It's probably good.
So as you guys know, for a while, Apple has been dabbling in the AI thing, just like so many other people and companies are. Specifically, back in June of 2024, they announced at WWDC that year that they were doing Apple Intelligence for a bunch of things, including iOS 18 and Mac Sequoia. Well, to date, Apple Intelligence has mostly consisted of on-device models as well as some cloud models running on servers using Apple Silicon. Both these models consist of a generic foundation model as well as multiple adapter models on top of that layer in order to execute specialized tasks to do with the Apple Intelligence, for example, text summarization or tone adjustment. There's also been some stuff baked into Siri as well. I tell you this because Apple has announced that they are partnering with Google to power their Apple Intelligence features. And they say that this will result in a major upgrade for Siri as well. So how this is working is there's going to be a multi-year deal that they've come to where basically the Gemini AI is going to be that base model that Apple Intelligence is built on. Quote, after careful evaluation, we determined that Google's technology provides the most capable foundation for Apple Foundation models. And we're excited about the innovative new experiences it will unlock for our users, end quote. That was a statement put out by Apple on this past Monday. Essentially what this means, Gemini is going to be the base stuff. And then on top of there, Apple will have their additional features that are needed for the Apple Intelligence. This is actually a pretty standard way that AI and LLMs are being used, is that there's base architecture, and then on top of that, there are the specialized stuff for different uses. It's important to note that Apple says that the models will continue to run on Apple devices and also the company's cloud compute. This means, in theory, all the privacy stuff is still applicable, meaning that Google will not, in theory, get all of that data back because it's like Gemini as the base running on Apple stuff. That's what the current situation is. We've seen in the past that there's been a little bit of back and forth between the two companies of information. So who knows? But I wanted to put this out here. Number one, because once again, proud of my son. He's the one that first told me about this. Awesome. Secondly, I do think that this is really important because it is, in my opinion, pretty commonly accepted that the Apple AI features are quite lagging behind what is the here and now right now. So I think that this is good. And I've been dabbling with some AI stuff, just, custom stuff to do with the voice assistant for Home Assistant and some other things. And just kind of for my education and my fun, chatbotting with Mistral AI and just a bunch of stuff. And I have to say, I think Gemini is still like miles ahead of what I've seen so far in some of these other areas. Google's done a really good job. Shocking. They have mined so much data that they probably shouldn't have mined. But anyways, it's pretty good. So I think this is going to be really good for Apple users. I haven't done anything myself with Apple Intelligence, even on my Mac. And so I wanted to ask you guys, have either of you used any of these Apple Intelligence features on your devices? And do you even really know what the current implementation of Apple Intelligence is doing on said Apple devices? Let's start with you, Chris.
So no, I don't use Siri on my iPad. I don't use it on my work issued iPhone just because I don't really see the need. I use Gemini from time to time, but I haven't been doing a lot of the voice features. Although I've been reading some interesting stuff, and granted, this is probably company propaganda because it's one of the big wigs at Google that was talking about this. But he was relaying a story, and I saw it on social media today that came out of an interview where he was like in line at, I want to say it was Costco or something like that, to get car tires. He was in there in the shop and like, well, what size tires do you need? And he goes, well, I've got such and such make and model car. And they go, yeah, but there's two different trims that have different tire things. Then he goes, do you know your VIN number or your plate number or anything like that? So he can look it up. And he ended up using Gemini, to ask what his license plate number was on his car. And what it did is it went into his Google Photos and pulled pictures that may have had his car in it in Google Photos and pulled the plate and gave him his license plate information so that he could give it to the person that was checking him out. I want to say it was at a Costco auto section or something like that. And then was able to figure out what the right size tires was he needed for his car without having to run out to his car to go check the VIN or the plate number to figure out just what trim of the car he had. So it could just all be BS, but it sort of makes sense because of how much data they have. So I guess it kind of leads me to my question is, with Gemini being sort of baked in Apple Intelligence, are you able to do those same things with your your Apple photos saved in iCloud and stuff like that? Or is it going to be still kind of limited because the Gemini stuff's behind the scenes of what Apple Intelligence could do? The stuff's fascinating. Other than just playing with it, I don't find much of a need for it. I don't know.
That is really interesting, and I would think it would depend on how much they bake in the Apple Intelligence into those extra things within Apple. I imagine it's going to be something to do with all of those photos that are in there, because it's just going to, I think, enhance the experience a little bit more.
If they're using Gemini as their basis, and Gemini can do that, I would think that the capability would at least exist so long as it's hooked into Apple Photos. And I assume it would be hooked in Apple Photos because everyone's baking their AI tools into every software and capability that they offer. Honestly, I'm surprised the Amazon Prime photo backup I use does not have an AI assistant baked into it asking me to do stuff in it at this point.
Oh, I'm sure it will soon.
Oh, give it time. Rufus will be there. Or A word. I'm not sure which.
How about you, SP? Are you familiar with any of the intelligence stuff, and do you use any of it?
I don't know if I've been using it or not, to be honest with you. No, I'm not familiar with it, but I don't think I've intentionally used it. But here's the thing. I'm pretty sure it has been used. So I don't talk to my device. I always tap in something, but that doesn't mean that it's not reading what I'm throwing in. Like if you're on Chrome or Edge or whatever, and you put in a search thing and you have an okay to use it, it's going to pop up with some sort of AI thing that you could choose to use or not. Pretty sure that's what's going on in my phone.
Yeah, that's the thing that I'm not 100% sure of, what the different layers, I guess, of Apple Intelligence are. Like, there's the obvious when you are using the voice assistants and stuff. But I know, for example, there was something to do with, I think the phone itself, like Apple Intelligence on, I think it was the 17, wasn't it like clearing up audio calls or something like that? So
they're doing that with the Pixel phones right now too. I have like AI upscaling, for lack of a better term, to take care of background noise and distortion, which actually sort of works when you're on a call with someone.
Yeah, so I have no idea what the different features are, and I know when I upgraded my Mac Mini to Mac OS 26, it had said something about Apple Intelligence, and I just agreed to it or whatever. But maybe it's mining everything that I have. I don't know, but whatever. Who doesn't have my data at this point?
It's mining Bitcoin while you sleep.
Maybe
it's gonna make Apple coin.
So anyways, I think that's good, and I think that it probably will actually be very helpful for Apple users to use a robust foundation on Apple Intelligence. So that's good. Moving on to the next thing here, I heard that SP likes the character Artemis.
Well, here's
The
the thing,
Archer?
guys. NASA has a program called Artemis, and it's going back to the moon. Of course, we've been saying that for a while now, but it's going to happen.
The moon's not real.
NASA's been there for years. What's the big deal?
Well, I mean, we haven't been back in 50 years, so
NASA
whoever's up
has.
there has been stuck up there for quite some time.
It's only been like 5 years since we left Suncast up there.
All right. So outside of NASA or anything that's imaginary in Chris's head, Artemis is going back to the moon, possibly as early as next month, in just a couple of weeks. We'll see. The first launch date available not earlier than is 6 February, but the rocket itself will be transitioning out to the launch pad, which is historic launch pad 39B. It's always historic at NASA, right? Historic launch pad 39B. And that will happen 2 days from when we're recording this. So probably about 2 weeks ago, by the time that Steven actually edits and produces it. But
that's very generous.
I mean, I understand. I'm short on time myself, but that will happen. And then once it's out there, they'll go through the checks and balances and stuff like that. The ground equipment hasn't been used in like 4 years. And the launch transporter erector, the mobile launcher, basically.
The what? Sorry, the what?
Transporter erector. The it's a thing in rockets and missiles. So the transporter is brand new or has been completely rehabbed since, I think they have 2 and this is the new one, and it's going to be used for the first time. So we'll see if they get all the kinks out right away. If they do, they'll go through a wet dress rehearsal and they'll be ready to go. After the wet dress rehearsal, they'll have what's known as a flight readiness review, and they'll determine if they're ready to go or not. It depends on how well the wet dress rehearsal goes. They did, if I'm remembering correctly, about 3 of them with Artemis 1. So we'll see if they make that February date or not. But if they do, it's just a few weeks from now. And when you listen to this podcast, it might be tomorrow. So watch out for the launch when it occurs. It's going to transport people around the moon. They're not going to land. They're just going to fly around the moon. And it's going to be the first time humans have been there since 1972. It's been a minute. So it's exciting. And this is ahead of the Artemis 3 lunar landing, which is slated to occur in not later than 2028 at this moment. The Chinese are trying to get there not later than 2030. And there might be some political administrative timings that the 2028 date is out there. Also, since the last time we talked, NASA has a new administrator, which is Jared Isaacman. He's had a bunch of private space flights, and he's actually paid for them himself. It's through SpaceX. SpaceX is really the only game in town right now, though. The only other capsule that can take humans to space is Artemis, which is the capsule used in SLS. So you either do a SpaceX Dragon or you do the Artemis SLS and Orion. But the last time that launched was 4 years ago. So.
Didn't they send Katy Perry to space just a little while ago and there was a whole hubbub?
Yeah, she did. I mean, technically she did go into space, but it was just like a roller coaster ride up and down. It didn't orbit. She wasn't up there for any extent period of time. And I think I've said before myself that I would prefer that sort of ride than go into space for days, because I don't know how my body with vertigo is going to handle space sickness.
I don't know how my old bones would handle no gravity.
Yeah, no. And there was that exciting experiment years ago with Mark Kelly and his twin, right? They were both astronauts and they kept one on Earth for a year and the other was up in space for a year. It was a great experiment and it did show that there was some noted decrements in the body as you're in space for a while. They intentionally did that. They kept one on. They were both astronauts. They both flew in space, but for this particular experiment, they kept one on Earth for a year and they flew the other one for a year. And they did baselines before the flight and then they did testing afterwards. So it was a great experiment.
I believe he talks about that some in his book that he put out.
Yeah, he is. I could go in depth on Mark Kelly, but
man.
Unfortunately, it gets into politics because he's a senator now.
Not getting into the politics of it, just his career between the Navy and NASA and stuff like that. Plus, I'm also tickled by the fact that he snuck a gorilla suit with him to the space station.
Yeah, nobody knew. He snuck it in. He bribed
some
the right
people knew.
Yeah,
some people knew, but not the people there.
Right. He knew who to bribe. Let's put it that way.
Let's be honest. If you're in a space station and all of a sudden a gorilla comes at you, you're not going to think, you're going to be like, what the hell? And freak out for a second. There's not going to be any logic that comes into play. Oh, that's a dude in a suit. It's going to be like, what the hell is going on?
So there's a lot going on in space. We keep on talking about it. Starship is going to start launching more and more frequently this year. Hopefully, if they get the version 3 of the booster and the ship dialed in. They're making multiple launch platforms at Cape Canaveral and Kennedy Space Center, both. They're actually two different properties, but the launch pad 39 is Kennedy Space Center and launch pad 37, I believe, is Cape Canaveral. And they're going to have a just bevy of places both to manufacture these things and to launch them. You have New Glenn, which came on board as a reusable rocket recently, right? Well, at least they landed it. We'll see if it flies again. So I know we talked about this before, and Stephen, you said you were a little bit not excited anymore, but I just want to know, out of the three, because these are the big rockets. These are big rockets. These are like Saturn V or shuttle size or bigger. What are you more excited about? Artemis, which is going to send people to the moon, Starship, which is going to land people on the moon, or New Glenn, which is going to land people on the moon? Or are you excited about all of it? What do you guys think?
Probably the one landing on the moon. I've been told many times that if you just are going through an airport in a city, that doesn't count as going to that city. Or, if you're just like driving or on a cruise ship, and you kind of just go past some cities, it doesn't count as going to that place. So it's like they're not really going to the moon. They're going around it. They're not stopping by. They're just going to see it, and they're going to be like, oh, there it is. Just like if I drive by that Costco. Doesn't mean I went to Costco.
No, but if you're behind the Costco, you can't see in front of the Costco.
Fair enough.
And that's what's going to happen.
No, in all seriousness, landing. I like to see us go have things on other bodies.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Plus, it will actually happen this time.
Chris?
I'm going to cop out here and say all three because this is my generation space race we've got going on right now. My parents lived through a different space race with the race to get to the moon and things like that. This is the space race for the millennial, Gen X, some parts of Gen X, and younger crowd because we haven't really been doing much in relation to trying to go back and to land things on the moon. This is exciting, and I want to see who does what and how and the differences, and then just kind of bask in the holy crap, science is great of it all.
So are you only talking about like US space launch companies and agencies, or are you talking about whole world?
I am fascinated by some of the stuff that China's been doing too, because I know they just launched, didn't they have something that orbited the moon and landed something on it, or am I remembering wrong? I can't remember.
I mean, they've also gone to the moon recently. Like the Indians are involved, the Japanese are involved. The Russians are they are modernizing their rockets, but their old ones are getting kind of old, and they had that launch pad incident a few months ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They're coming back though.
In
They're
Soviet
coming
Russia,
back.
you're the launch pad.
That's not wrong.
Well, I look forward to one day you saying that Artemis 2 has successfully happened, because it feels like it's just taking too long, SP. What's going on? Why you got to dangle that in front of us and be like, this is going to happen, and then it takes forever?
It has taken an excessive amount of time, but it's under a month until their first launch date at this point. That's pretty close.
Well, I'm holding you personally responsible for the delay.
Wow.
Sure. I'll take.
He thinks you're pretty influential.
If I'm personally responsible for the success, I'll take the blame right now for the delay.
Fair enough. You know, there are 3 things in life that Chris Farrell enjoys. He enjoys casting, he enjoys me, and he also enjoys the God of War. And his next news article has to do with 2 out of 3 of those things.
No, it's a club called Billiards, Bourbon, and Boobs.
Oh, fair enough.
No, I'm just kidding. It's a community. It's a community reference for anyone who used to watch the show Community. But yes, I do have some casting news for you guys. It's pretty short news, but Amazon Prime has been getting into the business of making some series out of video games. Just today, they had shared the first look as Sophie Turner as Lara Croft in the Tomb Raider show they're going to be doing. And then just yesterday, they had given us the first casting news on their upcoming live adaptation of PlayStation's God of War. The casting now is we now know who's going to play the role of Kratos, the main character. And it is interesting because just someone who was in one of the most recent God of War games, but played the role of Thor, actor Ryan Hurst, who you may know from The Walking Dead. The thing I most knew him from was from Sons of Anarchy as Opie, is going to be playing the role of the Greek destroyer, for lack of a better term, Kratos, in the live action adaptation of God of War. I mean, personally, I think it's interesting, but I know SP would agree with me. I think we should have gone with the voice actor from the video game, the most recent one, Christopher Judge.
Yeah, talking about Christopher Judge, they've actually approached me to reprise the role of General Hammond. So I'm thinking about doing it.
So you'll be SP of
at SP of Minnesota. I mean,
Minnesota.
Minnesota, yeah.
Minnesota, eh?
Up there, yeah.
SP of Minnesota.
You betcha.
You betcha, man.
Talk to me in a few days. I'll be talking just like that because I'm headed back up there, and I'm going to be around my dad and his brothers and his sister. And yeah, when I'm around them, I go straight into it for like a week.
So let me ask you this, Chris Farrell.
Yes, sir.
Is God of War something that you have been eagerly awaiting, or is this just cursory news that you're like, oh, cool?
So honestly, the games are great. I really don't care about a TV show, but I bring up the news story because I like the interesting flip on its head of casting, and people are like, oh, I wonder if Chris Judge will get the role, who is the voice in the most recent games. And instead they went with a different actor who was in the games. It was the voice actor of Thor, who I think was nominated for a BAFTA for his portrayal in the last God of War game, and he gets the role. And I kind of enjoy just the interesting twist and subversion of expectations here. I didn't think that Chris Judge was going to get it, but I had no clue that Ryan Hurst was going to get it. I thought they were going to go with an unknown or like a massive name, just to be like, hey, look who we got for this. And this is not me crapping on Ryan Hurst. I'm talking like A-list celebrity kind of thing is what I was thinking they were going to try and do.
For those that might not be involved in these people, Christopher Judge was Teal'c in Stargate, right?
Okay.
Indeed.
Gotcha.
Yes. So for the people that don't know who we're talking about and why I made the Hammond reference, that was because of that. And then Hurst was what, Chris?
He was Opie in, that's the role I most known for, is Opie in Sons of Anarchy, but he was also, God, why can I not remember his name in the Walking Dead stuff that he did?
Beta.
That's it. Yeah. I think it was when I'd stopped watching the show, to be honest.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I actually didn't I fell off the comics in The Walking Dead before his character was ever in there, but after I sort of got to that point in the TV show, I'd looked up some of the stuff, and from just the synopsises and stuff I saw, it looked to me like the consensus was he kind of got short end of the stick on the TV show compared to what the character could have been.
Yeah. I guess, and going back to God of War, the series, I wasn't super interested in it. The thing that really has me most intrigued is not the only casting news we've gotten. It's who the showrunner is. And I'm sure this will appeal to you guys because I know you guys are fans of the gentleman's work. Ronald D. Moore will be the showrunner for the God of War show. And I do enjoy a lot of what Ron Moore has done. Not everything that Ron Moore has done.
You just have to, when he's involved in something, you just have to know it's going to be dark.
Well, I mean, the God of War games are pretty dark, so that'll work.
Fair, but I mean, if you're not aware of it and you're like, oh, cool, I know these names, I want to check it out. I'm just forewarning people. Moore has gone, and that was his whole thing of why he didn't want to do Star Trek anymore, is he wanted to do something that was dark and gritty, and he has done that.
But didn't he also do Galactica?
He did.
Which was dark,
that wasn't dark and
gritty.
I never watched it, so I have no idea.
Your brother might have watched an episode or two.
Or more.
Yeah.
Many, many more.
And then For All Mankind is definitely dark.
Yep.
And so just trying to warn people, like, he does good stuff, but there's always a really big dark side to
Didn't
it.
he do Outlander also for Showtime or Stars or whatever it was?
Yeah.
He's done a ton of stuff. So Ron Moore is very talented. I do enjoy his darker stuff. And I think a lot of his really good stuff when he started to dabble with that was in Deep Space Nine with that creative team there.
Yeah.
And for those that aren't familiar, like, he went to go do Voyager and they did some really campy, hokey stuff. And he's like, we're beyond this at this point, guys. These people are stranded 70 years from home. It doesn't just reset every week. And the creative team there in the writer's room didn't tend to agree with him. And that's when he went off to go start working Battlestar Galactica and other projects, because that was the world he saw. And you see a lot of that in Galactica with them having limited resources, and the ship gets damaged in 1 week and it's forever damaged in some way until the show ends. They don't magically just paint over the hull and it's back to normal. There's consequences, I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, that's disappointing because we shouldn't have consequences of our actions.
Never mind.
Well, I look forward to you eventually telling us about how terrible the show is. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, it's video game movies generally that aren't good. TV shows tend to be okay, it seems like.
I'm just worried about Amazon, if I'm being honest.
What's your worry about Amazon? Because they've done some good stuff, but they've had a couple of misses.
I don't know that they have dug into the market like they had hoped, and I worry that they're on a budget and it's going to show.
Look, as long as Stargate's good, I don't really care what they do with the other stuff. I'll be honest.
Now,
God of War will be interesting. I might watch part of it, but Stargate, I want.
They have a good creative team on board, and they're looking for that story that's going to resonate. And this creative team has done a lot of good stuff along the way as well. It's not Ronald D. Moore. He's not involved in it, but there's other people that have done other good things that are involved in it right now. And I have high hopes just based on them. But I agree, if it slides into where sci-fi was at the end of when everybody stopped watching it, right? If it slides into that, I think they're in trouble, because if they really depend on only cheap graphics and kind of so story just to churn something out because it's a known IP, then I have a problem.
So here's what I would point out to say I'd be less concerned is they did great with The Expanse when they bought it from Sci-Fi and continued it. And if you have watched The Boys, every season they get to do more and more. And like the budget is not a limiting factor for some of the stuff they do in The Boys. Let's put it that way. Side note, don't watch The Boys with small children. It's incredibly graphic, violent, drug referencing, nudity referencing. It's not for children. Don't watch it. It's a superhero show, but it's not that kind. It's a great show, though.
You remember when all the people let their kids go watch The Watchmen?
I remember going to go see Ted in movie theaters, and these people walked in with their kids. And I'm like, this is a rated R movie. What are you doing?
Yeah, so let's see. Amazon has had Man in the High Castle, which I've yet to finish the last season, but what I saw was pretty good. They had The Expanse, they had Fallout.
Fallout's great.
The Boys. I'm looking for their original series right now.
Gen V, which is a spinoff of The Boys.
I'm also kind of trying to look for stuff that's not done well with them, and I don't see them on any of the lists, but I do remember there's some that are like, I don't know if I want to watch that.
Jack Ryan, they're bringing back The Night Manager. I'm just trying to think of some of their other series.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I don't know. I just feel like they still haven't bit into where they could have been.
Reacher.
I don't think they do a good enough job of selling what they have so that people are aware of it. That I think that's more of what it is. It's like Netflix, and even to a lesser extent Apple TV has found a way to get into the cultural zeitgeist.
Huge, because I have yet to watch a TV show on Apple TV and Apple TV Plus or whatever it's called now.
Yeah.
And have it be a miss. It's all been a hit for me. Every single one.
Severance,
watch The Morning Show?
Shrinking.
I did. So Morning Show was good. They had the Matt Lauer
that was the whole problem with the beginning, right? Is they started because it was never supposed to be that. And then while it was in development, that whole Matt Lauer thing happened and they changed the whole show. And I was disappointed that happened.
I found The Miss on Amazon Prime Originals.
Yeah.
Beast Games. This is me being an old man who doesn't care about Mr. Beast. There's probably a younger generation that's fascinated by it.
You know what else?
I was taking a shot.
You know what else? Grand Tour.
Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power.
Yeah, but I have a hard time seeing past my own preconceived notions there because I don't really care about the Lord of the Rings. Send your hate mail to Chris@GonnaGeek.com.
Yeah, that's fine. There's people that like it, the people that don't, I'm like, so. It's like interesting, but I'm not gaga over it. And I think they overdid the movies.
Wait, Lady Gaga's on there?
Yeah.
Sure.
They've been doing a lot of stand-up comedy originals lately, too. It looks like, just looking on their page, which I love stand-up, so I'm going to have to go watch some of these that I didn't realize were on here now.
Yeah, I started watching stand-up on Netflix because they had a ton of stand-up specials, and it brought me back to laughter because I needed to laugh at last fall quite a bit. And,
I need to also watch on Hulu Kumail Nanjiani's return to stand-up. Supposedly it's really good.
Is it?
And
I haven't.
Yeah, and I butchered his name. I apologize.
So one thing about Prime that keeps people coming back is anybody that's interested in football, and I know you two are, they do have and I don't know if it's Canada, but I know that they have the Thursday night game here in the United States.
And some playoff games.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, it's not here.
Okay.
But yeah, that's that whole NFL thing, the way that they have everything all divided. Oh.
All sports are like that now.
Well, let me give Amazon credit for this. I think out of all of the streamers of NFL content, they have the best product. product. It is by far generally the most stable stream, the highest bit rate, has the best HDR that I have seen. I don't believe it's in 4K. I think it's like 1080 HDR, but like their football product is really good on Prime Video.
Worst theme though. Bottom of the list for the NFL theme. Bottom of the list.
I don't even know what their theme is.
Okay.
Exactly. Unmemorable.
I think it's
Horns.
because I tend to not turn on their game until it's already started, so I don't ever actually see it.
Yeah, that's part of it. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if they have any. They have some playoff games, is like Saturday games.
I think they had their last playoff game. They had Packers
okay.
Bears last weekend.
Oh,
Yeah.
And it was
big
only
game.
on Prime Video, and that was a really good game.
Yeah. So I think some people here in the United States anyway are going to have Prime specifically for that.
And they have the NBA now too, I think, on Prime.
I don't care about it, but I
I'm
know
not
a lot
an
of people
NBA
do.
guy, but there are a lot of people that are big on the NBA. Just like if there's a lot of people that are big on NHL, they've probably picked up the ESPN streaming package or HBO Max because it's on there.
Yeah, I want to get back into the wild, and it's so hard because I'm not going to pay for whatever that package is.
Go Pens.
So, not Chris, Steven, I don't know if you're a Canucks fan or not, but if you were, what would you have to watch them?
Yeah, that's such a pain here because you have to get like to make sure you get all the games, you have to get something with a company called Sportsnet, which I forget who theirs is, but basically they have their own channels, Sportsnet channels, which you can get streaming and whatnot, but because of blackouts and stuff, you basically got to get that in order to watch them. But on the flip side, you can get some games depending on when it is, but they have it divided, I believe, between the cable and then between also CBC gets some games. So it just depends on when it lands. But I don't watch hockey. I am a bandwagoner when it comes to hockey. I am a failed Canadian. Another reason I should be taken out by space debris.
It's a similar thing here too. Like you can get your local affiliate to pick up your team. Like I live close enough to Pittsburgh that we have the Sportsnet Pittsburgh app because we picked up a Black Friday sale for dirt cheap to get all of the Penguins games. However, previously I would often travel to Buffalo, New York whenever the Pens were playing, and I could watch it on the ESPN app.
Well, talking about that, the discounts or whatever, if you wanted to pick up the NFL Sunday ticket for that last weekend, only $4.99 for the rest of the season. Like,
what a deal.
Wow.
What a deal.
6 games, $4.99. Sure.
That's
I love
wild.
that. Yeah.
Pun intended for
so
your
funny.
hockey referencer.
I picked it up.
Well, we are going to have a little bit of a shorter show today. However, I do have one quick extra that I thought we should at least talk about here, given that we have followed some of the crazy chaos that has been the different space station endeavors over the last year or so, including astronauts being trapped there. If you didn't follow that, last year there was a test flight with Boeing, and Boeing had some issues with the Starliner. Thank you. Couldn't remember which one. Starliner. And it meant that 2 astronauts ended up being stuck up there for a little while because they decided to bring the Starliner back early and let the astronauts stick up there, which meant that the space station was more crowded than usual. Well, if you've been waiting for a little bit of the capacity to open up at the space station, now's your time to book because the reservations are open. There's only 3 people on board right now on this International Space Station because as of last night, while we're recording this on the 15th of January, they did pull some astronauts back early because of a medical issue. The medical issue has not been stated. However, there was a undisclosed medical issue that affected one of the crew enough that they decided that they were going to bring back Crew 11, which was launched in August 1st, 2025, and was scheduled to remain there until mid-February. There had on January 7th been a postponed spacewalk because of said unknown medical issue with one of the astronauts, and so they did announce that it was to return. I believe it was the next day after that delay.
I think it was a day or two later, there was a press conference. The medical issue was not mission related, so it had nothing to do with the spacewalk. It might have been to do with one of the astronauts, and we don't know which one of the 4 crew that this came up with. Also, there was a medical conference requested by the Japanese astronaut, but that doesn't mean that he was the one with the medical issue. They could have hid it. It could have been another person, and they could have hid it by him asking for it versus one of the other 3. There's a woman and 2 other men that it could have been. The change of command ceremony, which was broadcast live, and it did have video in it. I watched it. I couldn't tell which one of them, like there was no broken bones. There was no splint or anything. So who knows? It could have been a heart attack. It could have been a blood clot. The woman on board, for whatever reason, could be pregnant. Who knows what it is, right? You just don't know. And was
it maybe like alien out of the chest?
I didn't see any chest popping or blood
Did
around.
It start singing "Hello, my baby, hello, my darling"?
There was some singing, but I didn't hear that, and there was no dancing across the floor or anything. But
that's disappointing.
Yeah, so they did the change of command because the commander of the American expedition was the commander of the International Space Station, and he had to turn it over to the Russian commander while he left. I mean, they go back and forth anyway.
Right.
So it wasn't a big deal. The Russian just got it early, basically by a couple of weeks of what you were saying. So they've been incredibly quiet about it. I was actually considering going with this news, but I wanted to talk about Artemis instead. Did you guys see the infrared image of the Crew 11 capsule coming down, by the way?
I didn't know.
No.
So go look it up. There is a no kidding cruise ship in the background, and it looks like they're right on top of each other. They're not. They're miles apart, but it looks like it's coming down on the cruise ship.
Oh, that's awesome. I got to look that up. That's cool.
So I thought it might have been CGI or something like that, but no, because I didn't see it. I was working until really late last night, but I didn't see it live. So I'm like, oh, this is somebody that just like, they put an image of an IR cruise ship, and then they put an image of the, nope, it was live on the stream. They misidentified the ship as Shannon, which is the SpaceX vehicle that actually gets the astronauts on board. They said, oh, there's Shannon. And no, it was a Royal Caribbean cruise ship.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, so that's interesting. Yeah, so the summary is, if you didn't get all my long-winded lead up in that and joking around, there's only three left right now on the International Space Station right now. Two Russians. Yeah, that we know of. 2 Russians, 1 American. And
I heard there's a gorilla up there.
I think it's still up there.
Still there.
Yeah, so lots of room. Book your tickets now. But that's going to take us to the end of the show. Before we go, I will just let you know we are going to continue on a bi-weekly basis. We might, for a little bit longer, have to shuffle the recording schedule a bit. I think we're hoping for the 26th of January, but TBD for sure. Keep your eyes on the Discord, and at some point here, hopefully we'll get back to being able to do every other week on the Monday of recording. But for now, we've just got some stuff going on that's making us have to shuffle a little bit. Primarily Chris's flu that he was talking about. His toilet's getting lots of exercise.
Hey, side note, bidet is still great. Toilet talk on the hashtag on the channel. Head on over there.
Yeah, for sure.
On the Discord. Sorry, brain fart.
Whatever.
Words are hard.
On the subreddit.
I've only done over 1,000 podcasts, and words are still hard.
Oh, look at me. I've done over 1,000.
You've done just as many, if not more.
I don't know how many. I've lost track.
Not more of these. Chris is king of these.
I hold the record for the most GonnaGeek.com show appearances.
You do.
I stopped tracking that. I should try to train an LLM to figure it out.
Just ask Gemini how many times Chris Farrell's been on the GonnaGeek.com show.
Yeah. Well, for episode number 322 plus 100, I'm Steven saying I screwed that up, but I recovered.
I've done a lot of GonnaGeek shows. I'm Chris.
I'm SP and I like rockets. We'll see you guys soon.
I got a rocket for you in my pants. Bye.
Is it about to blast off? Red dot! Red dot!
Thanks for checking out another episode of the official GonnaGeek.com show. If you like the show, please give us a 5-star review in Apple Podcasts or a thumbs up on YouTube. You can always join us for our live recording sessions at www.geeks.live. And remember, you can find our full back catalog at GonnaGeek.com/show. If you're itching for more geeky content, check out other shows on GonnaGeekNetwork.com. Voice work was by Emily Prokop of the Story Behind podcast. That's it for this episode. We hope to see you back again next show.